I want to start tonight with a question that has no clean answer, and I want us to actually sit in the discomfort of that instead of rushing to a conclusion.
Okay, I'm bracing myself.
Should you forgive cheating?
That's the question.
That's the question. And I've seen people destroy themselves trying to answer it. Stay when they should have left. Leave when they maybe could have stayed. Judge other people's choices without understanding the full weight of what that decision actually costs.
Because everyone has an opinion until it happens
to them. And then suddenly the clean answer they always had, the I would leave immediately, there's no way. Suddenly that answer isn't so clean anymore. Which is the first thing nobody prepares you for, that you can be devastated and still in love at the same time, that betrayal and attachment can exist in the same chest simultaneously.
The person who did it
and
is
that
someone
doesn't
you
make
built
you
a
weak.
life with.
It makes you
someone
human.
you know completely. Someone you love. And love doesn't just turn off because something
what
terrible
cheating
happened.
actually does, not just emotionally, psychologically, because I think people underestimate the specific kind of damage it causes. It's a rupture of reality.
It
Because
makes you
the relationship
completely,
you thought you were
painfully
in,
human.
the story you had about your life, about this person, about what was real, that story turns out to have been partially false, and you didn't know. You were
It's
living
not just
inside a
heartbreak.
lie you
Heartbreak
didn't
is clean
author.
in comparison. This is something else entirely.
Researchers actually describe it as a trauma response, not metaphorically, clinically. The discovery of infidelity can
And
produce
that
symptoms that mirror
retroactive rewriting
PTSD,
is one of the most disorienting
intrusive
things
thoughts,
a person can experience.
hypervigilance,
You go
difficulty
back
trusting
through
your own
every
perception,
memory and wonder,
because your
was
perception
that real?
genuinely
When they
wrong,
said that,
and the
meant
brain
that, held
struggles
me like
to
that.
recalibrate after that.
What was actually true? So before you even get to the question of forgiveness, before you get to should I stay or should I go, your nervous system is already in crisis, already trying to rebuild a reality that just collapsed.
Which means any decision made in that immediate aftermath is almost certainly not a fully clear one.
Which is why the people who say, I know immediately what to do, probably haven't been there.
Because when you're there, when it's actually happening to you, the clarity everyone promises you doesn't show up on schedule.
It really doesn't.
Okay, so let's get into the actual question, forgiveness. Because I think this word gets used in a way that creates a lot of unnecessary suffering.
What do you mean?
People treat forgiveness like it's a verdict, like it means what you did was acceptable, or I'm over it now, or we're back to where we were. And none of those things are what forgiveness actually is.
Forgiveness is just releasing yourself from the weight of carrying the anger forever. It's not absolution. It's not reconciliation. It's not saying it was okay. It's saying, I'm not going to let this define the rest of my life. I'm not going to be consumed by this forever.
And you can forgive someone and never speak to them again.
Completely. Forgiveness is for you, not for them. And I think once people understand that, the question shifts. It's no longer, do they deserve my forgiveness? It's, do I want to carry this, and
Because
for
some
how
people
long?
carry it for years, decades. They leave the relationship, they find someone new, And the betrayal from a person they haven't spoken to in 10 years is still shaping how they love, still making them check phones, still making them flinch at certain silences.
Because they never actually processed it. They escaped it. And escaping and processing are completely different things.
That distinction is so important and so easy to miss when you're in survival mode.
But then there's the other question, the one that's even harder. Not just forgiveness, but staying. Should you stay?
And this is where I refuse to give a universal answer, because I've watched people stay and rebuild something real. And I've watched people stay and slowly disappear into something that damaged them permanently.
Both outcomes exist, and the difference between them isn't whether staying is right or wrong in principle. It's about specific conditions.
Like what?
Like, does the person who cheated actually understand what they did? Not just the act itself, but the specific damage it caused to you, to your sense of reality, to your ability to trust your own experience. Because remorse that's really just regret about getting caught, that's not the foundation you can rebuild on.
And you can tell the difference. Even when you desperately want not to be able to tell the difference, you can tell.
You always can. And the second condition is, are you staying because you genuinely believe in what this could become? Or are you staying because leaving feels more terrifying than the pain you're already in?
Because fear is not a reason to stay.
Fear of being alone. Fear of starting over. Fear of what it means about you if this ends. None of those are reasons to rebuild a relationship. They're reasons to work on yourself, but not reasons to stay.
And the third condition?
Are you actually capable of moving forward? Not perfectly, not without hard days, but genuinely forward. Not just saying you forgive while keeping a detailed internal record of every transgression to deploy in future arguments.
Because that's not forgiveness. That's a ceasefire with evidence preserved.
And it poisons everything that comes after. If you stay, you have to actually stay, not a diminished, perpetually suspicious, waiting for it to happen again version of staying. Real staying, which is one of the hardest things a person can choose to do.
One of the genuinely hardest things. I want to say something that might be unpopular.
Go ahead.
I think sometimes people who leave after cheating are celebrated for their self-respect, and rightly so. But I think sometimes people who stay are quietly judged. Like, why would you do that to yourself? Don't you have standards?
And that judgment misses something important.
It misses the complexity of long relationships, of shared lives, of love that is real and deep and worth fighting for even after something terrible. Leaving isn't always the brave choice. Sometimes staying, fully, consciously, with open eyes, is the harder and more courageous thing.
As long as it's a choice, as long as it's not fear dressed up as love.
As long as you know the difference.
And you have to be brutally honest with yourself about which one it is, because your nervous system will tell you it's love when it might be terror. And only you can sit with that question long enough to know the real answer.
And sitting with that question is one of the loneliest things a person can do.
Yeah, it really is.
So where does that leave us?
It leaves us with the uncomfortable truth that there is no universal answer. Not because the question doesn't matter. It matters enormously. But because the answer lives inside the specific relationship, the specific people, the specific history, and nobody outside of that can tell you what to do.
What we can say is, whatever you decide, decide it for yourself. Not for them, not for what people will think, not out of fear.
Forgive, not because they deserve it, but because you deserve to be free of it. Stay only if you can stay fully, not as a smaller version of yourself waiting for the next wound. Leave without shame, without apology, without owing anyone an explanation.
Any of those paths can be the right one, depending on who you are, what you need, what's actually true for you.
And if you're in the middle of this right now, if this question isn't theoretical for you tonight, we hope this helped even a little. Not to tell you what to do, just to remind you that whatever you're feeling is valid. The love and the rage and the confusion all at once. All of it is allowed.
All of it.
Thanks for being up with us.
3 a.m. Talks. We'll see you next time.